everyone, welcome back to the Halfsoypins channel. My name is Sharon and today we are going to be making the matching top to the Hori Chima, the Korean wrap skirt that we made last time. You guys really liked the wrap skirt, so I thought I would attempt to make the matching top, which is called a Jeogori. And today's video is also sponsored by LDH Scissors. Thank you so much, and I'll be sharing about LDH Scissors with you throughout the video. I'll also be sharing a bit of information on the Jeogori top and what I do know about Hanbok. So if you're interested in learning a bit more, you can listen to those parts, or if you're just interested in the sewing tutorial, then you can skip those parts as well. Totally up to you, but let's get started. This is a message from Editing Sharon, and I just wanted to say that I am by no means a Hanbok expert. I am developing this pattern pretty much as I go along. It's basically my first attempt, so it is by no means perfect, but I hope you still enjoy the ride and get to learn along the process with me. But I hope to keep developing a Jeogori pattern, so hopefully everybody can draft one at home. So there's actually something I do want to tell you about the pattern of the Jeogori traditionally, and I've got my mum's old Hanbok Jeogori right here, and if you have a look, the arm actually extends horizontally out the side, and it's because traditional clothing, it's actually made in a very 2D way, so there are very minimal curves. You would be familiar with probably a curved sleeve pattern, but everything in Hanbok usually is very straight lined, minimal curves. It's very 2D. Like, even if you have a look at our socks, which is called poson, it's actually like two pieces of fabric that look like feet shaped, and they're just like stuck together, and then you just pop it on, and there's like a seam running down the middle of your foot. So a lot of the clothing works like that. It also lays entirely flat. In the traditional Jeogori, you probably won't be seeing these curved shoulder lines. You won't be seeing darts, because that's kind of a 3D effect, if that makes sense. Today we are going to incorporate those things into our Jeogori because of the pattern that I'm using, which is like a basic block bodice pattern, and I would highly recommend going out and finding a block bodice pattern to buy, or you can draft your own. I'll link the blog instructions below in the description. Alternatively, you can try and use the bodice of maybe like a dress, or you could try and use a very simple top, something that looks like this. My only concern would be these ones, which are a bit more boat neck, so I would choose something more fitted to the neck like this or this. Here are the pattern pieces that I have today. You've probably 100% seen these before because I use them constantly in like every single video, but we've got our basic block patterns. This is my back piece, we've got a front piece, and we've got a sleeve piece that goes with it. And if you're in search of a block pattern, I think I would go on Etsy and look for a block pattern with a lot of good reviews. I can't recommend a specific one because I've never bought one, but I know that it would be very, very similar to what I have here because they all kind of work in the same manner. We are going to be working on altering a standard block pattern piece to create our Jeogori. In terms of fabric, I think you'll need about 1.5 meters or a little bit more, depending on how much you typically use to make a top. I think I would need about 1.5 meters, not entirely sure, but I've got these quilting fabrics on the Bolt because I picked them up for a really good price at secondhand. These are the two fabrics I'm going to go reversible with, two florals. And then I've also got some extra skirt material from last time to make the cordum, which is the tie. And you'll only need like a tiny little bit of this because it's gonna just be like a few strips. First, I'm just gonna go ahead and trace my existing block pattern, including the bust dart here. I won't be using the dart for the waist. I really need to get one of those curved rulers, you know. And what I want to do from the center middle is add on about 12 to 10 centimeters. Maybe I'll just start with 12 since it's better to start bigger. A line here. I don't want to take in any of this shoulder length. Use this neck part, center neck, as a guide and just connect this diagonal. Oh, we also need to pop in the dart, so just put my point there. You can expect your front bodice pattern. My corner here hits actually like mid boob, kind of. If we have a look at the back collar of this Jeogori, it's actually a straight line. So your block patterns would come with a slight curve for the back of your neck. I will be altering this so that it's a 90-degree line from here and there is no curve. A few people have been asking me what my favorite tools are, and I'm so genuinely happy to share this brand of fabric shears with you. I mentioned at the start they're called LDH Scissors. There are several reasons why I've fallen in love with them. Look at how sharp the tip of the scissors are. These are my favorite type of scissors because it allows me to get super precise with what I'm cutting in like small areas. If you have a compare these to my regular scissors, they're actually very blunt at the tip, and these I don't like as much, but I just use these to cut my paper. You might have noticed that recently I actually leave the audio in for my cutting footage because these scissors make it sound like such a dream. These are the perfect size and they're not too heavy on my wrist, especially when I have to cut a lot. I think these are a size 8 and they are made out of carbon steel, I believe, which makes them a little bit more lightweight. I have been loving using them in the last couple of months, and I'm so thankful that LDH Scissors actually gifted these to me. So as mentioned, with the back, make this part a straight line. This is on the fold, by the way. I don't know if you guys remember, but I actually broke my old shears while I was making my couch video, and everyone was like, oh, go get them fixed, but literally everything was closed at the time because of COVID. And LDH Scissors, Ursula actually, she's one of the co-owners with her husband. She actually reached out to me and she was like, oh Sharon, I'll send you these, and I was like, oh my god, what perfect timing. Since I've received them, I haven't looked back because I've absolutely fallen in love with these. Not to mention these, I think you would have seen me use this rotary cutter heaps of times now. I don't know if anyone remembers this, but actually it was last Christmas I was looking for a rotary cutter because it just seemed so handy to have one. I actually purchased one from really big brands actually. I was so disappointed. I would cut like one garment and it would already be blunt. I was so disappointed that I had to return it and get an alternative really popular brand, and that was like the same as well, and I was like, what is going on? I had given up on actually finding a good rotary cutter for that whole time until LDH actually sent me this one. I'm gonna be grabbing myself some more blades for Christmas. Honestly, careful of your fingers because it's so sharp and it just glides through the fabric like butter. I'm actually going to cut out the collar after I assemble part of the bodice because it's always better to kind of remeasure and check everything's alright before you keep going. I actually don't want very big ties at all. 4 centimeters thick and 30 centimeters long. Not not sure how well you can see it on camera, but I've marked the darts in pencil for all 4 of the front panels. So the pink, and then also this. What color is this even? Like khaki floral in the ditzy print. And I'm gonna put all the darts in and I'll check back in with you. So here's our back piece, and I'm just gonna demonstrate on the one kind of fabric, but we are repeating the exact same steps with the other fabric as well. I'm gonna do here and here. Here is the shoulder and here's the sleeve. We're just gonna attach them right sides together and sew them to both of the tops. Another tool that I've been loving are these thread snips from LDH, and they are in this gorgeous prism color. It's like a beautiful little oil spill, and I don't know how I lived without having little snips next to my machine. Previously, I used to always have my shears next to my machine, and because the blade's so long, I always like bash it into the side of my machine, so there's actually a lot of like scratches there. But ever since I got these, they've been so convenient, especially because my Overlocker does not actually have like a cutter inbuilt into the machine. So I just love using these. They're so handy to have next to the machine. They're super sharp, and again, love the pointy edge. Now that we've attached the sleeves, I'm just gonna go ahead and finish the underarm section on both sides, and I've also completed the same steps on the pink one, so I'll do the exact same thing there. I nearly forgot to shamelessly plug my pins. Halfsoypins, which are available on my website right now at www.halfsoybean.com/shop. I worked really hard the last few months to make this happen, and all of them are individually designed by me, and they are packed and sent from my little sewing room that you see me sewing in all my videos. Seam Ripper, Iron Deficient Iron, Olivia Rodrigo, Hey Bobbin, On the Run. You know, your bobbin's always running out without you noticing. Half soybean scissors. All of my packaging is plastic free. I have tried to keep everything as low waste as possible, and also my mailers are compostable, so you can just chuck them into your compost bin if you do have one. Thank you so much for those of you who have supported me so far and placed an order. It really means so much, and it's like my Christmas dream come true, and I'm so thankful. Okay, so now that we've got our shirt assembled, we want to go ahead and measure how long our neckline is in order to create our collar. So I'm getting around 90 centimeters, and I'll just add on 2 more centimeters for seam allowance, and we're actually going to create a strip on the bias. I don't want to cut out one long strip. I'm actually going to cut 2 and attach them together, so each will be around 46 centimeters long and 4 centimeters in thickness, which we can always adjust as we go along. Now going to place the strips right sides together, so a straight line here so we can connect it into one long strip. I've got my top here, my collar here as well, and I'm just gonna line it up from the back middle. I'll pin it, but just need to sew across the whole thing pretty much. These are facing right sides together. I realized I was very dumb and forgot to put interfacing on the collar. Make sure you remember to do that. I don't think it'll make too much of a difference, but it does add some more structure to the collar, which is quite nice. I am too lazy to go back and fix it. Here is top number 1, and here is top number 2, and we're gonna connect them. What you need to remember to do is wedge the straps in between here. This is the front closure of the top. I'm just gonna wedge mine right here. This is all excess, so we can actually cut it off. Firstly, I'm going to sew along the front closure and then all the way along the neckline, putting these two sides together like this. Once you get to the other side, you want to do the same thing by wedging in the tie. Yeah, I've just come back from the machine. I'm going to flip everything, but before we do that, I'm just gonna snip these corners so it flips a little bit nicer. The bottom is still open. Can use the point of the scissors to kind of let's check the other side. And once we press everything down, it'll look a lot neater. Moving on to the sleeves, firstly tuck one inside the other as it would sit on the final top, and just see how you need to connect them from the wrong side. Then I'm grabbing those raw edges with my fingertips and pulling them out of the bottom open edge of the top to be able to access those wrong sides that we actually want to sew together. Then match it up by the seam, ensuring the sleeve has not been twisted. You just want to sew around that circumference. It has now been attached in a tube fashion like this, and now I'm just gonna bring it out to the correct side again. And if I just stick this part out, then it's all done. Another interesting thing is that the length of the Jeogori, this one is actually really cropped because that was what was in the 90s, but depending on the trend, the length of the Jeogori goes up and it comes down. And in terms of material, I think the noblemen and the upperclassmen would wear silk clothes. This, I'm pretty sure, is a silk organza and it's usually double layered, but I think the lower class people, just like the regular citizens, they would probably wearing more cheaper and affordable kind of fabrics that were available back in the day. I gave it an iron, but I do feel like the neck's a bit funny. Like there's this gaping situation going on. And I don't know, it's giving frill neck lizard and I'm not sure that's meant to happen. I feel as though I need to go back and fix this collar so it's in line with this seam, so it sits a bit flatter and hugs my neck, because this is just a bit of fun. The rest of it looks pretty decent. Like, okay, I decided I'm just gonna keep it this time because I know if I go back and try to fix this, it's just gonna end up worse. That has definitely happened to me before and I just don't want to repeat my mistakes in that sense. But sometimes, you know, being mediocre is okay. It's a little bit funny to me, but like most people probably won't even realize. And I know what the issue is. It's because I'm trying to connect a very straight horizontal collar to this neckline that's quite diagonal, whereas in like the authentic Jeogori, the shoulder line goes horizontal across like this, and then the sleeves are attached like in a T shape. Do want to add like a white bias tape detailing on the collar just so it looks a little bit more, it pops a little bit more. Before we get to do the collar though, I just wanted to attach the remaining ties. I just measured where I wanted them on the top and simply sewed them down as shown. The ties are being applied to one layer of the fabric only on each side of the fabric instead of going through the entire top, which would be both the layers. This is possible because the bottom edge of the top still remains unfinished. So the ties are made so that it's always tying on the left, and you can also tie the opposite side on the inside. So I haven't pulled out the sleeves for the pink side so it looks a bit cooked, but if we have it out to the brown side, same thing, we can tie it on the inside here, and that helps the inside panel not fall out. If you just have this tie, and not the inner tie, then it's probably just gonna like start slipping out like this. That is how the ties are attached, and just need to finish off the bottom edge now. So to finish the bottom, it's still open like this, by the way, and I'm just gonna flip everything the wrong way again, pop everything inside, and sew as much as you can. I suppose you can start on either side and leave a gap in the middle, and then we want to flip everything out again and then just like finish off that portion, if that makes sense. Okay, now for the white bias tape, I've simply just popped, a bias tape on the collar, and I'm just gonna top stitch it down. Hopefully I don't mess it up, because I really, I want to be done with this. I actually don't know how to tie a cordon properly to this day, because my mum always did it for me and I could never seem to wrap my head around it, but maybe today we'll be able to learn properly. Okay, let's try and tie the cordon together. There's a side tie. This one I think you have to loop and it goes up. So this side one is up here, and then with the bottom one you make a loop, which is the core. And then you bring this top one down and tuck it through this part and pull it through. Then you hold both the ties and adjust it. And it should look like that.
I've been to dreams, baby. What can I do when I'm